साहिब की तारीफ हो या साहिब की तारीफ हो या दास्ताने वफा की, ये बातें लफ्जों में कहा आँखों से बयां होती है। जब दिल गया साहिब के बस में, जब दिल गया साहिब के बस में, मसरत आँखों से कहा आंसू से बयां होती है। My most prayerful salutations at your divine lotus feet, most beloved Bhagwan. Dear sisters and brothers, Jai Sai Ram. साहिब के तारीफ हो या दास्ताने वफा की, be it the praise of the Master or singing the glory of the one without a second, the glory of love. ये बातें लफ्जों में कहाँ आँखों से बयां होती है. These are matters that cannot be expressed in words. आँखों से बयां होती है, but expressed in a better way through the eyes. जब दिल गया साहिब के बस में, when the heart is stolen by the Master, आँखों से कहाँ आंसू से बयां होती है. The tears speak better, express it better than just the mere look of the eye. Just a few moments back, Shrikant was mentioning my name. Dr. Sunam Gyamtso Tenzin, he said. My name is much bigger than that. Sunam Gyamtso Tenzin Tungko Bhutia Wangchuk Dojing Puchung Chiring Denzongpa. That's my full name. Soon after our birth, as we grow, so many adjectives get added to our name. We get qualified more and more. And as we do that, the names also keep adding. And ultimately, it becomes such a big name. So many decades back, when I was a student, when I had just joined Vrindavan as a student in the 11th standard, Swami just called me. The previous evening, he had come to the hostel. And I had, for the first time in my life, been given an opportunity to sing a bhajan in his presence. And it was the seniors, the students, who pushed me right to the front. Such were the virtues of the seniors that they would allow the juniors to grow. One of the first ever lessons in leadership that I learned in that school. And after some time, some of the seniors again came running to me and said, Swami was asking about you. Who is that guy, who is that boy who sang bhajan today? As though he didn't know me. And then Professor Narendra explained to him that he is a student from Sikkim. And Swami said, oh, Auna. Then the next day in the morning, Swami called me. A dry fish, come here, he said. And those days I was so raw that the moment Swami called me not by my name, but as a dry fish, it just hit my nose. I was so egoistic. In retrospect, when I think of it even, I wonder, how did I go through Swami's beautiful divine sessions of operations to chip off the ego? And then when Swami saw my discomfiture, that I was feeling really bad about it, Swami was calling me a dry fish. Swami said, doesn't matter. Fish is better than selfish, Swami said. And it was so comforting when Swami said that. Sometime after that, Swami just drew me aside. And Swami said, you felt very bad when I called you dry fish. What's your name? I said, Swami, my name is Sunam. Swami said, there is so much in a name. Because a name is given to you so that you live up to it. What does Sunam mean? Swami asked me. I said, Swami, all good virtues, good activities, good work, good karma. Because Sunam is a Tibetan name. Swami said, no. Sunam doesn't mean anything at all. It's meaningless. You should call yourself Sunam, Swami said. And then he defined it. Sunam means good name. And live up to it, Swami said. It was one of the earliest lessons that I learned from Swami. That a name is given to you, not to just call you and address you, but it's a value that is added to you. And you have to live up to it in your life. And in times to come, I had beautiful opportunities to really live up to my name. Good name, Swami said. Then that day, Swami told me a beautiful thing. He said, what is my name? Swami asked me. I said, Swami Sai Baba. What does it mean? I said, Swami Sai Baba means God. Swami said, no. You are yet to realize that Sai Baba is God. If you want to tell me anything, tell me from your experience. In the days to come, in all my stay in Prashanti Nilayam as a Vrindavan and Prashanti Nilayam, Swami continuously kept telling us that you speak from your experience, not from inferences here and there. And then Swami said, Sai is, I'll tell you the meaning of Sai. Sa is Sarveshwar, he said. Sa is Sarveshwar. I is mother. Baba is father. So Sai Baba is Sarveshwar, father and mother. And in short, see always inside, Swami said. See how much it means? Then believe me, Swami said, by word, thought, word and action, I live up to my name. And in the days to come, and till date, even thinking about Swami is basically the unveiling of an entire saga of living by precept and practice that Swami has shown us. This is a beautiful retreat. The second one that I am experiencing, participating in this beautiful country. Our retreat should mean something to all of us. From what I heard from Shrikantji, we all already seem to have had a wonderful retreat throughout the year of sadhana, the inward path. And this is a retreat. We already had a beautiful treat. shamadama upariti titiksha. Everyone seemed to, or maybe we were hesitant, we didn't really spell it out. But then everyone seemed to have gone through shamadama upariti titiksha. And then this wonderful Ashtakshari mantra that Swami tells us, it's no more. On one of those days in Prashanti Nilayam, when he was giving a discourse on the Bhagavad Gita, for one whole month he spoke on the Gita. And it was at that time Swami said, the new Ashtakshari mantra that I am giving you is not Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya anymore. Then Swami counted it in his fingers and he said that Shraddha Vana Labate Jnanam and Samshayatma Vinashyati. He said that, counted it, exactly 8 matras. And then Swami said a wonderful thing about Samshayatma Vinashyati. He also said, it's not only that those who are ignorant will perish, but Swami said, those who have faith, their ignorance will perish. That was a new light that Swami threw on this beautiful Ashtakshari mantra of Bhagavad Gita. That was a glorious time when Swami said, I am not asking all of you must be feeling that why is it that Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba doesn't hold a text in his hand and quote from books. We are all used to that stereotype. We are used to attending this type of satsang in the presence of a Swamiji. And Swamijis normally they either carry a Vivek Chudamani or Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam and then give discourses out of that. And some people, even once in a while, felt that Swami doesn't really seem to quote from any book. And Swami said, I don't need to quote from books because I'm the source. I'm only extracting the essence out of everything and giving it to you and making things easier for you. When the whole entirety of truth is only Dhai Akshar, Swami said. Dhai Akshar means 2.5 matras. Can you imagine it? Swami said the rest are all commentaries on this 2.5. And what is that 2.5? Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, if you say. Sathya is only 2.5 beats. Have you ever thought of it? Sathya, Dharma, It's so beautiful. And this Dhai Akshar Satya, Swami said the rest of all these scriptures are commentaries on this Dhai Akshar Satya. Swami said you should have that Shraddha in your heart to understand this Dhai Akshar. And beyond that, reading the whole Bhagavad Gita, 700 shlokas, and ultimately not really feeling Krishna in yourself. What is the point in reading that Bhagavad Gita, Swami said. And Swami, I think you remember that beautiful story that Swami tells us about a Pandit who is giving a very big discourse on the Bhagavad Gita, and there is a thief who is just lurking somewhere there in the shadows. And ultimately, the thief believes in what the Pandit tells him, goes to that address in the banks of Yamuna and finds his Krishna. I'm just cutting short the story. So apart from these, I just want to tell you my story, a small story about when I went back in 1993, just on the onset of my leaving Vrindavan for good. And there was a moment when I couldn't even imagine leaving the holy precincts of Prashanti Nilayam and not being a student anymore. And lo and behold, I had become so old and I was no more a student. I had grown really, as we all grow. And to grow, we don't really put any effort, Swami says. You just grow biologically. For that, you have done nothing. Swami was telling the youth. But when I was taking Swami's divine Pad Namaskar, I understood that this was almost the ultimate Pad Namaskar I was getting as a student. So I was desperate. One was, I was not allowed to be in the summer course. After the summer course, when Swami looked for me and called me, I just sprinted like I had never run in my life and caught his feet. And Swami gave me Vibhuti. I said, Swami, should I work in your organization? Swami said, not my organization, your organization, Swami said. Because I have heard this so many times from Swami, he doesn't need an organization. Because his is the whole universe. But Swami said, you can jolly well work in the organization. But he didn't say jolly well, he said, you can work in the organization. But he also added, don't pull the cart, push the cart. And it just took me back in time when I had asked Swami the same question in the interview room. And Swami said, everyone wants to be a leader. You can not only lead from the front, but you can also push from the back. Still you are a leader, Swami said. And then Swami told me at that time, and I just correlated these two incidents together at that time when I was just leaving Vrindavan. Swami said, when you push the cart still moves. The idea is that the cart has to move, whether you pull it or push it. If you are pulling the cart, you project yourself and show yourself that I am the doer, I am doing it. You are in deep trouble then. But if you are pushing the cart, you are very safe. And the job will be done anyway. So you don't feel bad about taking a back bench, being right at the back. Because sooner or later, Swami said, the people in the front will understand that there is a push from the back. And when they turn back to see who is pushing me and helping me, they will notice you. And suddenly you will realize that you are leading in the front. It was such a beautiful imagery that Swami gave me at that time in the interview room. And when Swami said, go home, I went back to Sikkim. I joined government service. I joined the government department in the Institute of Tibetology as an assistant director. I got the job. But that apart, I started going to the Sathya organization. And in the organization, I started participating in similar retreats. 1 day, 2 days shivir, they would call it a camp. So I started participating in camps, and invariably I found that everyone was very enthusiastic about Suprabhatam. Then I asked somebody, how is it that you are so enthusiastic about Suprabhatam? Do you do it every day? He said, no. We do it during the camp. And the rest of the time, no Suprabhatam. Then I also learned that for 1 day, people are ready to give up anything and do anything. It's just a 1 day carnival. And just for that 1 day, you give up smoking, you give up drinking. It is just like 10 days vipassana. For 10 days, normally we don't listen to people at home, we take everyone for granted. So the wife doesn't listen to the husband, the son doesn't listen to the mother. But there is deep within us, there is a thirst to change. We want to change, we want to transform ourselves. We are looking for that metamorphosis. And then when that doesn't happen, and in the family when we don't get that impetus, just because we have closed and shut all the doors, all the windows, we look for avenues like a vipassana, where there are strangers telling me what I should do and what I shouldn't do. And that too strangers clad in wonderful robes, looking so holy. And when they tell you, don't smoke, I won't smoke. Don't drink, I won't drink. And then when they tell us that you are supposed to live on a very vegetarian diet, we are ready to do that. Because tomorrow is always there. I can fall back again to my old sweet ways. So I learned that a retreat in the Sai sense, when Swami tells us that Sai is, there is only one synonym for Sai, Swami said, is perfection. So you cannot undertake a retreat in such a lackadaisical manner in the Sai sense. We have to be a little more serious. And when I learned about that, heard about that, I was really deeply tormented. I thought we should do something. Because these one-day things are happening every day. Almost every week there is a one-day shivir. And there's always somebody who is very much interested very much in love with the microphone. Prepared to stand for hours on end and speak. Marathon speech. In fact, one day I attended one speech which went on for 6 hours. One man speaking for 6 hours, can you beat that? Much before that, when I was a student, I had gone through a 4 hours ordeal. And that was when I was a student. And it was 26th January, Republic Day in India. We were prepared to sing patriotic songs in the institute campus foyer in an auditorium. Just ready. And the chief guest of honor came there. And he said, spirituality is very simple, he started. Today I'll tell you, make you go through the entire A, B to Z of spirituality. Then he said, A is Atma. After 15 minutes of introduction, A was Atma. Atma went on for almost 12 to 15 minutes. Then he said, B is Buddhi. Then C is Chitta. So it went on A, B, C, D, E. After a few alphabets, some of us, we were so tired, we just went back into the chemistry room, which also, once in a while, we used to use it as a green room. So we went there and some of the boys slept. Some of the boys dozed off. After almost 2 hours, I went out to see who was what he was telling. He said, now we come to the letter M, he was telling. So I found that invariably in every satsang, the ingredients are willing people to sit and listen, very good Shravakas, and then somebody ready to speak, and a group of ladies ready to cook. So this formed all the ingredients of a nice shivir, or a nice spiritual retreat. So I prayed to Swami, I was praying, Swami, what should we do to improve this? Then in my dream, Swami came. Normally I don't dream. And sometimes I really, when people come and tell me that they had wonderful dream of Swami, I feel that how is it happening? Some people get a dream every night. And then they come, invariably they want to tell me the dream. So they will ask me indirectly, what do you think? And want me to interpret that dream. And I say that I am not a dream reader. I don't know what a dream is, It was your experience, so you should know better. So, but I had, that night I had a dream, and I was inside Prashanti Mandir, all alone. And Swami just walked in, and Swami was wearing a beautiful white robe. And then Swami said, tapas karo, tapas. And then I woke up. It was almost in the morning around 4 o'clock. And then when Swami said tapas karo, I thought that might be the answer to my question, the solution to my problem. Swami, what should we do to sustain this spiritual environment, this spiritual atmosphere, which will turn us into realities, real seekers and sadhakas? What should we do? So I went to my office. That day, luckily, there was nothing much to do. I sat at my desk, thinking about tapas. Throughout the day, I was only thinking about what Swami meant by tapas. And then all of a sudden, the idea came to me that I should break it down. It might be an acronym for something. So all of a sudden, it started unraveling itself. T stood for training. Because I was only thinking about all of us, we are getting trained. Throughout life, it has been a continuous process of training with Swami. So it was training to attain perfection, awakening, and sai. And when I thought of that sai, again, it struck me that sai actually means spiritual awareness of individuals. So this was a very holistic concept, training to attain perfection, awakening, and sai. That is tapas. Tapas is not only sitting cross-legged and ramrod stiff, and then in the early hours of the morning and doing my meditation. And Swami says sometimes even killing mosquitoes when you are trying to do meditation, and sometimes dozing off a bit. Swami said, tapas is basically, for me, it was a training program. So what we did was we started writing down what should be the components of this tapas, and where should we do the tapas, and who should be participants in this tapas. We had no clue about it. The manner in which Swami gave the idea and the manner in which it started unraveling. And then we made the entire training module. Then we decided that it should be open to all the devotees, but especially the young adults, our youth. We call them youth in Sikkim. So we invited people to register themselves, and you won't believe me, 2,500, more than 2,500 people registered for tapas. And it was to be a massive program because Sikkim, being a very mountainous country, the terrain is very, it has different variegated terrain. It would have been difficult to have training centers all around, but we had 80 training centers. And the training module was for 6 months. The main idea was you have to form a habit. That was the crux of tapas. I have to form a habit because overnight or 10 days of vipassana, I'm ready to do anything. After 10 days, again, I'm back to square one. So 1 day or 2 days at a retreat, even here sometimes, in a retreat, we can't restrain ourselves. Swami says, are you selling fish in the market or are you doing bhajan? No, because this is a spiritual retreat. So I thought that more than jokes, more than stories, why not get into serious matter? Because Swami has been telling us, after the bhajan, I want an air of stillness. I want a stillness in the air. Because that is what is going to help you. And that stillness, that silence will come only from you. When you keep silent, everything will be silent. When we are noisy, everything is noisy. We are the people who are we are the noise makers. So does it really help us? So these were the rules laid down by Swami for a beautiful training program. And then I also learned that in fact, if we form a habit of doing some of these wonderful things, swadhyaya, make a habit of reading good books, because your Swami says, your book is my manifest. That book is my manifestation. Read it. You will learn so much from that book. Then again, making the best use of time. These things were so important. And then over a period of time, if I live on a vegetarian diet for 6 months, I become a vegetarian. Then for 6 months, if I do suprabhatam, I start doing suprabhatam because after the sixth month, I'll start missing suprabhatam if I don't do it. It becomes a part of me. So to form that habit became the crux of our practice. And for 6 months, we wanted to do it. And then we just tried it out. And then on a particular day, we had 2,500 people, more than 2,500 people in Sikkim, in Gangtok. And then we took out a huge procession. It was a all-faith procession. People in Sikkim, in Gangtok, they had not seen a thing like that. Just the sight of the procession impacted people so much. Just onlookers, they were so much impressed by the procession. And then when we reached the venue, we had an oath-taking ceremony. We did a yajna, just 108 names of Swami, a very simple yajna. And we said that keeping fire as our witness, we hereby undertake to go through this beautiful program for 6 full months. Do we do it? Now you have the option to just get out of it, re-register yourself. And then almost 1,200 people got out of the program. They said, I can't. But still we had another 1,200. So almost 1,300 people, they undertook the training program for 6 months, and then we really did it. After 6 months, they took the degree. And today in Sikkim, there is a huge proliferation of Sai devotees we see, and among them there are people who don't hesitate to come and speak. Because part of that training program was also public speaking. All the youth at that time, now they have become quite adult, and they are participating in the Sathya Sai organization programs. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when the heart is willing, as it was said yesterday by Nikhil, when we are fervently praying and we really mean every word of that prayer, the prayers are always answered by Bhagwan. He has never failed to do that. And I've always experienced it, be it a bhajan, manifestation of a bhajan. I just want a bhajan, Swami, please give me a bhajan. He gives it. He is all the time prepared to fill our coffers. But the problem with us is, most of the time we are full. We are all the time full up to the brim. There is no room for Swami to fill anything, not even a drop sometimes. But when we are completely empty of our own substance, He really fills us up. And fills us up according to our own nature, our own wish, our desire. If somebody is a poet, he gives beautiful poetry. Someone wants to paint beautiful imagery, beautiful imagination. Someone is a bhajan singer, beautiful bhajans. And let me tell you, as a bhajan singer, I have met hundreds of composers throughout the world actually. And all of them invariably converge in Prashanti Nilayam. So I have met them there on the holy grounds of Prashanti Nilayam. They all want to offer it to Swami. So they come there to Puttaparthi carrying these beautiful bhajans, which Swami would have composed through them, and they want us to sing there. So when we were students, most of these composers would show up there and tell us, please sing my composition. Do you have some time? In fact, I never had any time even for one of my own batchmates. I thought this guy is not capable of composing anything. In my own egoistic way, I thought that, what would he compose? After all, he can't even pronounce a Hindi word properly. He was a Canadian. And then he lives in this country. And then when I just kept, pushing him off every day, he would all the time pester me with all that upariti, titiksha. With all his titiksha and forbearance, he would tell me, please, learn this song and sing it before Swami, because he was not a singer. But this song had come to him. And that song was, we'll just sing it together. One day he said, sing it, you learn it. So just to shake him, just push him off for good, I said, okay, sing it. And with all my ego and vanity, as though I knew everything about bhajans, I told him, okay, sing it. Let me listen to it. Let me hear it. If it is good enough, we'll sing it. So he sang and I learned it. But even as I was learning, I was just crying and learning this song. It was so beautiful. Then who said that someone has to know music, someone has to be musically trained to receive bhajans? Anyone, whoever is ready, whether musical or otherwise, is all the time, Swami is all the time prepared to give us bhajans. Janani Sai Devi Dayamai, Janani Sai Devi Dayamai, Janani Ma Kripalini Ma, Janani Ma तुम हो प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ, Sathya Sai Ma. Kripa karo Sathya Sai Ma. Janani prema sai ma. Janani prema sai ma. Janani sai Devi Dayamayi Janani Ma Kripalini Ma. And even as he was teaching me this bhajan, his instructions were, I want a tum ho, I want a minor chord, C minor. And he taught me on this exact scale. He said, when you sing this bhajan, there should be a sharp contrast from a minor to a major. So the minor gives you all the feel, the emotion. Tum ho makes world of a difference. Prema swarupini ma janani. This transition was so beautiful, even as he was teaching me this bhajan. This happened almost 25 years ago. Maybe 30 years ago. But still is so fresh. There are so many unwanted things of the past that we forget. But then these things are etched in our memory, we never forget them. We had a beautiful session with Swami in the safe room of Vrindavan. For many of you who wouldn't really know about the safe room, I'm talking about Vrindavan in those times when we had the old bungalow and not the Trei Vrindavan, which is there today. It was not that beautiful, elaborately constructed building, but the old bungalow in Vrindavan. And we used to have Swami's, adjacent to Swami's interview room, a room which was called the safe room, because there was a huge iron safe kept in that room. And then we could hide behind that iron safe and then stay away from college. So, and many times we used to do that. In fact, one day I was hiding behind that safe and then listening to everything transpiring in that room. And then I had really bunked my first period, first class. And then Swami was seated there. Swami was talking to the important people who keep coming there, especially those who are in the trust, very important people. Swami talked to them. And then it used to be a pleasure looking at Swami seated there on the divan with making his small betel, the pan. And then he would chew the pan, the betel leaf. He would make that pan and chew it. And then he would be talking to these people. After some time, there was pin drop silence in the room. I thought Swami and all of them would have gone out of the room, and I wanted to come out from my hiding. And all of a sudden, Swami's hand he brought his hand right inside the place where I was, inside the cove, and then pulled me out from there. And he said, I know you are hiding here. It was not only me, many of our boys, we used to find that place and then take our turns to hide there. And Swami brought me out, took out his handkerchief, and kept beating me on my cheek with his handkerchief. And said that you don't go to college, very bad. I'll throw you out. I'll send you home. Then I said, Swami, when you are giving darshan, you don't feel like going out anywhere. Swami said, good, this is a very good habit. Swami said, you stay here only. In fact, there were those days some students who failed in the examination. One student, he didn't do very well in one paper. Swami said, Papam, you have failed in the examination. Why don't you stay with me in the bungalow, in my residence? And it was staying almost 9 months with Swami, because Swami used to spend 9 months in Vrindavan and only 3 months in Puttaparthi. So this boy had a fantastic opportunity. He became, in fact, the star of the hostel for failing in the examination. Because he was all the time with Swami, living with Swami. So this reminds me of what yesterday Nikhil was talking about, from 0 to 0. So many things get connected. When he was saying that my journey is from 0 to 0 and I am yet to understand what that 0 means. And one day in the mandir, Swami just walked into the bhajan hall. And then Swami asked one of the students, what do you want? The student said, Swami, I don't want anything. Like you say, I don't want nothing here. Swami, I don't want anything. And then Swami said, you must want something. I know you want something. You want a ring, locket? What do you want? That boy said very passionately, Swami, I want you. And then Swami said, you are very clever. You want everything. You want me, you want everything. And suddenly he said, nothing is everything. Everything is nothing, he said. And then he walked back into the interview room. And then after that, you won't believe me, I sang bhajan in Pancham Swar that day. And it was not only me, whoever had actually connected with those words that Swami had spoken. The feel of the bhajan was totally different that day. It was a very super high. Because Swami said, nothing is everything, everything is nothing. Then Swami had gone inside just before the bhajan would begin. Swami just came back into the bhajan hall. And Swami said, who among you, who wants to be a hero here? All hands went up. Swami, I want to be a hero. Swami said, you are all practical zeros, platform heroes. If you want to be a hero, then you should tell me, what is the significance of a 0? You should tell me that. And then we said, Swami, 0 is just a 0, nothing more. Swami said, yes, 0 plus 0 plus 0, kitna hota hai? Swami asked. We said, Swami, 0. Ek aur 0 lagao, kitna hota hai? We said, Swami, 4 zeros, 0 only. Aage ek lagao, kitna hota hai? Swami said. We said, Swami, 10,000. Aur ek lagao, 1 lakh. Aur ek lagao, 10 lakhs, 1 million. Then Swami said, ek ko hatao, kitna hota hai? He removed that 1 again, back to 0. So realize that you are heroes because you are standing with the hero. You are all zeros standing with the hero. So you are getting all the radiation, all the light, all the warmth, all the synergy from God Himself. So you are all different. And let me tell you, sisters and brothers, I have myself experienced this in Sikkim. I was walking in the street and 2 guys were talking and I overheard the conversation. You know what they were telling each other? One guy was telling, don't talk about him. He speaks like a Sai Bhakta. He is like a Sai devotee. I was all ears to this. I wanted to know, what does he mean? Is it derogatory? Or really, does he mean very positive about it? So I went up to him and said, what do you mean? Like, what is a Sai devotee? You want to know what a Sai devotee is? I was walking on that road on Sunday, going to the temple. And he told me, just opposite that cinema hall, that movie hall, there is a Sai temple. You don't know about it. You just go there. I said, why would I go there? Why should I go there? You tell me about it. He said, you go there are all Sai Bhaktas there. So I said, what is so special about them? You are telling him that he is a Sai devotee. No, I was telling him he is a very gullible, naive, straightforward, and very truthful. He only speaks the truth. Where can such people survive in this world, he said. That is the face of a Sai devotee in this world today. Wherever we go, we are the gullible people, sometimes too gullible to go everywhere. Sometimes too much thirsty. Our thirst is such that we go looking for the truth in places after having tasted nectar in Puttaparthi. Sometimes we go in so many different directions. And sometimes we land up in deep trouble also. But all because we are straightforward. We can be taken for a ride because we believe in everyone. We trust everyone. We have learned to trust, we have learned to believe. There's a beautiful story of and Swami keeps telling us that when I call you sometimes, kukka, you shouldn't feel bad about it. Because sometimes even the dog is better than a human being, Swami says. And I'm telling you about this beautiful story of a doctor, a physician who had come to a new town and set up his practice, and he had a clinic. And he had a nice Alsatian dog. And the dog was nice only to him, but to other humankind, he was very ferocious. So he had to just put him in safe custody. So he thought that for a few days, let him get used to the new environment. So he locked him up. And then the door, where the room in which he locked him up was just the next door. Just outside that was his clinic. And he would lock up the dog, lock him up there, and then he would do his practice. So a patient came there, and the patient was really shivering with fear. He didn't want to die or whatever. So he was telling the doctor, "Doctor, will I get well?" Doctor said, "How do I know? I can just try my luck. I can try everything that are all my resources. But then beyond that, you have to pray to God." So this patient said, "Even your medicine won't help me." He said, "It helps. But then, you should also trust the medicine. You should have faith in the medicine. But doctor, I just want to know, is it difficult to die?" Another question. Doctor said, "I don't know because I have never done that again." So the patient said, "Doctor, I just want to know what is on the other side of life." Already he was on the other side. So the doctor said, "I don't know what is there on the other side because I haven't reached there, I haven't gone there and come back." Then this patient said, "I just wanted to know if I can get well. There are no answers here." And all of a sudden, the dog was making a big noise from behind the door. He was trying to hit at the door, trying to come out of the door. He was squealing out, and telling the master, "Open the door, I am here. Why do you lock me up here?" And the doctor suddenly felt a sudden, impulse, a fantastic idea. He just opened the door. And the dog came out and hurled himself, not on the patient, but on the doctor. And he started licking him all over, forgetting the fact that his master had locked him up there. No grudge at all. And the dog came and licked him up. And the doctor started talking to the patient, and he said that, this dog, all that mattered to him was freedom. And in a free world, all that he thought about was that at the end of the other side of the door is my master waiting for me. And then he will just come and then hug me and love me. He had that trust and faith that there won't be strangers on the other side of the door, but my master waiting for me. So the moment I opened the door, he came, he just hurled himself on me and started licking me. So you also should know that on the other side of life is the master waiting. Have faith. We are better than the dog, he said. So when we were in that room, I'm just taking you back to that Vrindavan days, in that safe room. That particular day, Swami was in his elements, describing himself, how beautiful he looked, how handsome he looked, how beautiful he looked. And then he kept telling everyone, "See this Kasturiji was sitting there." He said, "He is so stooped and looking so old and haggard. Why does he look like this?" Then Swami pointed at another person and said, "See, his sitting posture is wrong." And then Swami said, "Look at me. How beautiful and resplendent I look." So Professor Kasturi said, "Swami, you are God. Why do you compare yourself with us, We are just mortal beings." Swami said, "Who said you are mortals? You are also God." Then Swami said, "I am not using divine powers to look so young, to look so fit, to look so beautiful. I just follow a set of rules that you can also follow. I live a perfect human life, Swami said. It was a great statement, wherein we are trying to make a quantum jump into divinity and say that when am I going to become divine? Swami, when am I going to realize God? And here is Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba telling, I am not asking you to short circuit everything and become God straight away. I am asking you to start with being a good human being. Swami said, if you live a very disciplined human life, a very spiritually oriented human life, you can also always look very young, dynamic, dashing, beautiful. Then Swami asked us, what is the difference between beauty and handsome? Then somebody said, Swami, all men are handsome, all women are beautiful. Swami said, stupid. It has nothing to do with gender, Swami said. Then Swami said, beauty is the manifestation of the spirit. And being handsome is just all about grooming up the physical body. So you can do exercises and make good muscles. Then you can show your biceps. We can all do that. Then we can put all the garnishing on the face and then try to look very young. But Swami said, beauty is inner beauty. And it was at that time, suddenly Swami said, you would have heard this beautiful statement from Swami so many times. Swami said, when I am with women, I am a woman. When I am with men, I am a man. When I am with children, I am a child. And when I am alone, I am God, Swami said. So for me, it was a very big question now. When is he alone? So I wanted to ask him, didn't get a chance at that time because Swami got up and went out. In the evening when we had our session with Swami, just before the commencement of the evening bhajan, it could be anything. Swami used to keep us on tenterhooks. It would be someone being asked to speak, or Swami would suddenly make a few people do some play acting, do some role play. Or Swami would ask some guest to speak. It could be anything. So we were waiting for the evening session to begin. And then I looked very expectantly at Swami and Swami said, Emra, Chappu. Then I said, Swami, this morning you said, when I am alone, I am God. What does it mean, Swami? When are you alone? I asked him. And it was a public in the sense that it was just the small inner circle and the students and us with Bhagwan. Swami said, I have another question for you. What do you do when you are alone? Swami asked me. And it's $1 million question to all of us. What do we do when we are alone? That question rings into my ears even now. Swami said, what do you do when you are alone? Then Swami went on to say, before we could feel terribly guilty and feel terribly bad about what do I do when I'm alone, Swami said, do you feel God when you are alone? Do you feel that it's an opportunity for you to feel God, to feel His proximity, to be near God? Do you feel that way? When you are alone, do you feel afraid of loneliness? What we call tanhai. Are you afraid of that loneliness? Then Swami said, most of you are afraid of being alone, left alone. You don't want to be left out. So when you are alone, you seek company. And you always, invariably, you seek the company of all those people who won't help you at all. And then you will call somebody. You won't feel that this is a good time for me to read a good book. You won't feel that way. This is a good time for me to compose a good bhajan. You won't feel that way. This is a good time for me to think of God and sing His praise, sing His glory. You won't think that way. You will think that now I am alone. Let me put on the TV. Let me call my friend. Let me go out, go for an outing. But let me mix up. Let me socialize. But because you never want to be left alone. Swami said that's a very bad thing. When you are alone, you are God. Because being alone is a fantastic experience of being God, Swami said. Because all the time we are opening gates and windows for people to peep into our lives and to disturb us. And that is one moment when we have our privacy. And that also goes off because Swami said, when you are alone, you should be God. So I think at that time when Swami was telling me, then he said a fantastic statement he made. If all the people in this world would feel this when I am with women, I am a woman, there would be no abuse in this world, Swami said. Because you are a woman, the most beautiful woman among women. You know, when we think about, and then we stand miles apart from the child, but I have seen Swami in Puttaparthi sitting, just, squatting on the ground and talking to primary school children. And these people, they would have never spoken to their own parents or their own peers or their own friends in such an amicable manner in which they converse with Swami. Because Swami is a child with them. And Swami tells, hey, tell me, what did you eat today? And the boys, we have heard this conversation so many times in Prashant Lam on the veranda. What did you eat today? Swami, idli. And with idli, was there chutney or sambar? And the boys, oh, Swami, idli, Swami, chutney. And how was the chutney? Was it very, very spicy? No, Swami, it was very good. Ah, very good. How many idlis did you eat? And then the children would say, Swami, I ate 3 idlis, 4 idlis, 2 idlis. Then how much did you take out? Swami would ask, how much did you excrete? Itna khaya, itna loading kiya, kitna unloading kiya, bolo. Swami would tell that in Hindi. Loading, unloading to hota hai, kitna kiya? And the boys would say, this much, Swami. And Swami said, you ate only 2 idlis and out came so much. How is it possible? Then the whole world would explode in a huge laughter. But the child would learn a fantastic lesson that life is not only all about loading and unloading. Then it is proportional to whatever I eat. So what I eat, that much I can give. Whatever I can give to the world is what I have learned in my life. How much I have conserved in my life. That is all that I can give to the world. And they would learn so many beautiful things from Bhagwan like that. When I am with children, I am a child. With regard to, a fantastic experience with internalization. I had, do I have another 10 minutes? Yeah. So Swami, we had a beautiful session with Swami when he just walked into the bhajan hall. He just said, he was telling us about the daffodils that day. Did I narrate this daffodil last year? Did I? I did. For those who didn't hear about it, it's so beautiful, and I would really, I feel like telling you this beautiful experience, inspired to tell you this experience. Swami just walked into the interview room, to the bhajan hall, and he was telling Wordsworth, he was telling words he was telling. Then I thought that maybe, we try to teach him, we try to suggest to him. So in the heart of my hearts, I was telling, is it Wordsworth or Wordsworth? Swami, what are you talking about? I think you are talking about Wordsworth. Then Swami just sat down on the pedestal near his throne, on which the throne is kept. And then he said, yes, I am telling about Wordsworth only. I know, Swami said. It was just a loud thinking in my heart. And then he just expressed it so loudly. And then he said, who can tell me about William Wordsworth? Then all hands went up. Swami said, can you recite one of the poems that he wrote? Then Swami said, he was a Vedantin. He was a great Vedantin who saw Brahman in nature. So who can recite one of the poems written by William Wordsworth? So nobody seemed to know. So I was very hesitant because I had committed to memory one of the poems of William Wordsworth, The Daffodils. And I thought that if I venture, I might, falter and I might stop somewhere, I might forget. But Swami was prompting me. But I wanted to, my fair share of chance. So I said, Swami, I can. So Swami said, come on, tell me. Then I said, Swami, I wandered lonely as a cloud that soars on high over vales and hills. And all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Then beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. When I said this, Swami said, 10,000 saw I at a glance. Say that. In front of all the students were taken aback because many of us, many devotees feel that does Swami know English? Does Swami know anything apart from the spiritual matters? Because we have segregated spirituality from materialism long back. And then we feel that Swami knows only about spirituality. We know everything about the world. We know everything about the mundane things. Swami doesn't know. But here was Swami telling us about these daffodils. And then he said, I'm just cutting it short. It was a huge experience. It went on for almost 45 minutes. But I'm just cutting it short in 5 minutes. Swami said, daffodils is such a flower, it's a very short-lived, it has a very short span of life. It blossoms in the morning and withers away in the evening, Swami said. And the petals of the daffodils are very yellow and golden yellow. And then this William Wordsworth, he was just passing by, and all at once he saw this beautiful daffodil, a host of daffodils, and it inspired in him the thought of the Creator, Swami said. And how did he experience that? Then Swami asked me to tell the final stanza of this poem. For all at once, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So when I said this, Swami said, what is a pensive mood? Swami asked. It was just like being in an English class, and Swami was teaching us, but telling us the inner significance of that beautiful poem. And Swami said, what is a pensive mood? When you are in a thoughtful mood, and when you are all by yourself and alone. That tanhai, that loneliness, that being alone is so important. And Swami said, at that time, what you had experienced in the morning was an experience in the Bhutakash, Swami said. It was at a very terrestrial plane that you had experienced it. And that goes into the Chittakash, when you are all alone and thinking about just trying to relive those experiences, those memories. Swami said, then your imagination becomes infinite. Then you can go beyond the bounds of that horizon. You can add yourself also sitting along with William Wordsworth and experiencing it. You can also see the flowers for yourself. But that is at the Chittakash level, because now you, in your imagination, at the level of your imagination, at the level of your subconscious, you can add so much to it, because now you are into infinity. And then when you are all alone and sitting, and when the heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils, when the experience and when the object of that experience and your experience and you become one, then at that time is a point of Advaita, Swami said. And that point of Advaita is, that non-dualistic point is when the heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils, you become one with the experience. And that is the Chidakash, Swami said. So such a beautiful experience, because just a poem. All throughout my life, it was just a poem in English literature. But then Swami made it a beautiful poem to teach us the beauty of Dvaitavad, Vishishta Advaitavad. And in terms of bhajan, it's the same experience that I had throughout my life. For me, a bhajan is an audible manifestation of God Himself, of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. When a bhajan manifests, in fact, when you compose a bhajan, or I should say when a bhajan gets composed, even when I put it in this way, People normally feel very relieved and say that, okay, so he didn't compose it anyway. You know. But when people ask me, did you compose a bhajan? And I say, yeah, I composed it. And people say, so you mean to say that now you have changed your views and now you are composing it? You are just claiming the doership, the authorship of that composition. Then it becomes so difficult to tell them that age has mellowed us down completely. And then it is now time when we really realize it, we understand, we experience it, that I don't exist at all. And when I don't exist, how can I say that? Even when I say I composed it, what does it mean? How does it matter? It's the same. So even when a bhajan gets composed this way, you feel the experience of 1,000 pada namaskars or darshans of Bhagwan. The heart is so much filled to the brim with, you are almost intoxicated. You are so happy, supremely happy. I had composed a bhajan some 3 years back in Prashanti Nilam, and this has been one of the greatest sources of inspiration for many of my friends who also keep composing bhajans. It was in Prashanti Nilayam, and Swami had already left his divine body. And when we sit there, and towards evening 5 o'clock or so, we feel that any moment Swami might come out now. We feel that, now the music will start and Swami will come out, walk out as usual. And all of us, we want that to happen. And I was sitting there, it was almost about to rain in Puttaparthi, and the feel was fantastic. Here, if it rains, it's not taken as a boon. But when it rains in Prashanti Nilayam, it's a complete 100% plenitude, a fantastic boon from Bhagwan. And it's a sight to see a big hard rain in Prashanti Nilayam. It was about to rain, rain clouds were forming. Even as I came, there was a slight drizzle. And as I sat near the garage, the thought of the rain clouds all of a sudden formed into Swami's hair. Swami's crown of hair. I thought the crown of hair is likened to these rain clouds. And any moment it will burst out. And then there will be this beautiful endless shower of His mercy, His love, His in the form of His darshan. So right at that time, Ved Narayan ji started the Vedic chanting, the Vedic chant. And Om, he started. And then for me, that became the Shruti. I took that as the scale. I was sitting near the garage, and I always carry a paper and pen with me, because anytime Swami might give a bhajan, so write it down. And that inspiration shouldn't be wasted. So when I took out my pen and paper, and then this bhajan started happening. And then the most beautiful thing was that when there is a singing going on in the vicinity, it normally collides with the notes that are forming in your heart, in your mind. But for me, there was no collision at all. It was happening, and it was a seamless experience from the Veda to this composition. And this is the bhajan that I composed. We'll sing it together. Ghir Aayi Megha, Sai Avan Ki. Ghir Aayi Megha is the rain clouds have formed to announce the advent of my Sai. Ghir Aayi Megha, Sai Avan Ki, the advent of Sai. Barse Prema Sai Pavan Ki. It's the showers that I am expecting now is the showers of His darshan. Barse Prema Sai Pavan Ki, the love of my Sai. So this is the bhajan. Ghir Aayi Megha, Sai Avan Ki. Ghir Aayi Megha, Ghir Aayi Megha, Sai Avan Ki. बरसे प्रेम साये पावन के बरसे प्रेम साये पावन के घिर आए मेघा सायावन के। श्यामल कोमल सावरी सूरत, श्यामल कोमल सावरी सूरत, अरविंद लोचन रूप मनोहर, अरविंद लोचन रूप मनोहर, दर्शन की बहार आई है, दर्शन की बहार आई है। आनंद घन बहार छाई है, आनंद घन बहार छाई है। घिर आए मेघा सायावन के, बरसे प्रेम साए पावन के। घिर आए मेघा सायावन के, श्यामल कोमल सावरी सूरत, अरविंद लोचन रूप मनोहर, दर्शन की बहार आई है। आनंद घन बहार छाई है, घिर आए मेघा सायावन के। ओम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम, तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वरः। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।